Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. I am your host, Letha Thornton, and we've been missing each other for a minute. We haven't been on the airways very much this month due to some scheduling conflicts, but April is Financial Literacy Awareness Month. So we figured at the end of the month, for you to even go into May, there are some tips, tools, strategies, and all kinds of things that you could be implementing as we continue to put on meaningful programming for you to embrace these resources, close the wealth gap, level up, create generational wealth and passive income, and all of those different things. So I figured today we would spend a little bit of time talking about something that I always like talking about, the financial hot topics, right? We've talked about some of everything as far as life insurance, investments, real estate. We've talked about credit and building business credit and all of those different things. But sometimes you have to break down the things that lead to us having poor money habits or whatever the case may be. And we've had some shows where we've addressed that. But I figured I would bring one of my, a veteran friend of mine to come on. He is no stranger to your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. He's been on a couple of different times to just share with the audience. And he has a very unique way of breaking things down so that we all can not only understand them, but they're totally relatable to our own financial life and situation. So I wanted to bring him on just to finish out the month and give us some hope and some help moving forward in the next few months of this rapidly approaching 2025, but 2024 is flying by. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up a gentleman who is running an awesome business, helping families, financial coaching, teaching, all of that good stuff. He's in Galloway, New Jersey. I'm going to bring up a good friend of mine, Mr. Lenny White. Can you hear me?
Hey, good evening, Letha. How you doing?
I'm
I hear you loud and clear.
fantastic. Thank you for coming on the show and gracing us with some of your wisdom. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
So, Lenny, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us your personal story. How did you get here?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I originally I'm from born and raised in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I went to Atlantic City Public Schools, graduated Atlantic City High School, went away to Hampton University, was a marketing major there, finished up there, had some job offers in New York, wasn't really interested in relocating. The casino business was starting to really bubble and boom, although it had been around, but it really started to bubble and boom. I got a couple opportunities to work in the casino industry, worked my way up after about 2 or 3 years. Became an executive at one of the casinos in Atlantic City. Worked a lot of hours, had a lot of responsibility, probably had about 350 people under my employ in my department. I actually ran a couple departments. Um, Kind of stumbled into financial services. I was a marketing major, business marketing major in college, but didn't think that I would ever go into business for myself. Always liked business, but
Mhm.
I really liked helping people, working with the public, which is what I was doing. But I kind of got tapped out after a few years of doing that. Stumbled into this business, started working just part time, spare time, nothing really serious.
Mhm.
Things started to generate and move for me. People started to like what I was talking about and sharing. And after 11 months of really commitment to the business, I decided to go out and venture on my own. In my 13th month, I opened up my first office in the Atlantic City area, and the rest was basically history. And
Mm.
really had it's been ups and downs, but I really haven't looked back
Wow.
for many years. So I'm full time in my business, and that's what I do and what I love to do actually.
You just described like an entrepreneur's dream, right? Where you can start doing things extremely part-time. A lot of times people feel like they don't have the time to start a business. You can start things extremely part-time and then work your way up to doing your business full-time, without jeopardy to your 9 to 5. And a lot of people often feel like it's either one or the other, so they never go ahead and start that business. But we will definitely talk about that toward the end of our conversation. So, freedom. That just sounds like a lot of freedom, where you were able to kind of blaze a trail, not knowing that you were gonna put your degree to use, helping people. What would you say you like most about? Is it helping people? What would you say you like most about working in financial services?
Well, I'm kind of a revolutionary when it comes to financial literacy. I really like making an impact in the community, sharing information with people. Information, as everyone has heard, information is power, but
Hmm.
or knowledge is power. But it's really the acquired knowledge that you implement.
Sure.
So I really love the implementation part of what we do. I'll educate and talk with anyone, but
Hmm.
until you make a move, um, it's just a lot of words. So I really like educating with the opportunity to implement some basic some basic steps to get you on the road. The first thing to do, or the hardest thing to do in anything, is just really getting started. So
Absolutely.
we try to help people get started in our business. Take that first step. If you take one step, you can take two and three, and so forth and so on. So
Mhm.
it's kind of what I love to do.
Very, very nice. And that was the number one reason that I started wanting to get involved, where you were educating, you have an opportunity to educate some families, in our communities. We're not really being shown or taught, a lot of the tips and strategies and things that the wealthy people are privy to. So consequently we're stuck in that rat race, and we're not properly planning, or we feel like it's too hard. Like you say, you just got to get started, but sometimes people don't even know where to get started.
True.
So I think that became my passion as well, was to really, say, okay, we all can go through a financial journey together. Everybody might be at different places in their financial journey, but everybody has something that they want to improve on when it comes to their money world, right? So I want to talk about statistics, right?
Sure.
Because, a lot of the times people aren't paying attention to, how things are going. They think that it's just them, or they think that, their financial struggles and challenges are theirs and theirs alone. But I just want your thoughts and feedback on some of these statistics. The average American has $90,000 in consumer debt, whether that's credit card debt, student loan debt, house or mortgage, car notes, all of those different things. Um, what's your take on that? What do you feel people are running up on these charge cards and all of this debt?
Well, firstly, the numbers don't surprise me anymore.
Right.
As I've been in business for a long time, but they're shocking to hear.
Hmm.
They're still shocking to hear. As far as people running up the debt, you know, debt is really a situation that is a long-standing problem in our community.
Absolutely.
If you go back historically, and you talk about at the end of slavery, if you want to go to that point, and you want to talk about reconstruction of the country, and there was a whole segment of the population that were freed
Hmm.
at that particular juncture. They had skills, they didn't have any capital.
Hmm.
So if I had skills to plant seeds that could produce and harvest, that'd be a good thing.
Be a
The
great thing.
problem was we didn't have access to the capital for the seed. So credit kind of became popular at that particular juncture in our country's history,
Mm-hmm.
because you can get the seed on credit. And if you had a good harvest, then you would pay back the general store for the
Mm-hmm.
seed. So it is currently a real problem in our community, but it didn't start at the advent of Visa or MasterCard. It has historical roots that goes back over 150 years,
Mm.
when we were really starting to not only move as a country, but move as a collective. So it has real deep roots. That was a
Right.
problem then, and it's certainly a problem now. But at some point in time, we've got to pull ourselves out of the credit trap. Knowing us the way that I know us, we're not going to save money until we have a zero balance on our credit cards,
Mm.
because we believe in paying systemically. Systemically, I'm speaking.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in paying people before we believe in paying ourselves.
Mm.
So if Visa or MasterCard bill comes in the mail, and that bill may be the minimum payment, maybe that's all you could spend was the minimum payment, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the bill is $30 a month. For some reason, we've been conditioned, socialized, indoctrinated to pay the $30 to Visa or MasterCard, but not pay the $30 to us.
Right. That's
So
true.
it's
That
a
is
real
so true.
problem. It's a real problem.
It's a
Systemically, it's a real problem.
it's a really big problem, especially when you're paying that minimum balance on your credit cards and it's not chipping away at the interest because the interest is accruing daily. So you're
Yeah.
just paying that minimum, right? Keeping saying, "Oh, my credit is in good standing." But that money is going toward continuous interest, right? So
Correct.
that's another reason why people feel like I'm never going to pay off this credit card debt, or I'm always going to be in credit card debt, because they're not working on chipping away at the actual balance. So those are just some things that I learned along the way. That in order to chip away at the debt, you have to have a strategy and a method in which you're going to attack it, right?
Well, you're not only correct in that, but it really goes to that philosophy of that indoctrination that we're under. A lot of us feel as though, like you said, the debt will be here forever. I'm never going to get out of credit card debt. That's a mentality.
Right.
That goes to the mentality or the philosophy of that these bills, especially these revolving credit card bills, are like a maintenance fee. It's like
Mm-hmm.
paying your Netflix account. You know what I mean? Oh, it's always going to be there. I just need to pay it. Some people really don't even think or think the possibility of being out of debt is a real possibility.
Right.
That speaks to the mentality. There's living expenses, and then there's debt.
Right.
Debt has a beginning and an end. We
Mm-hmm.
just need to figure out, like you said, the strategies on how to get there. You shouldn't be maintaining debt. Debt should have a expiration date attached to it.
Well, there's those people that say there's good debt, and there's bad debt, and it's like, if I stay in debt, and this is they don't say it like this, but if I keep an active line of credit, or I always have a high credit score, then I'll be able to get whatever it is that I want,
Yeah,
right? So.
I've heard that, and I have clients that will say that to me. Um, and I guess there is some truth to it, but I always challenge the people who bring that up. I said, okay, well, give me an example of your line of credit. Give me an example of this good debt. Give me
Mhm.
a dollar amount. Attach a figure towards it. And I usually get numbers like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000.
Mhm.
And those are, pretty good numbers. So then I say, well, if you have the ability at any time that that debt becomes callable to pay that debt instantly off, I can see what you're saying. But if
Right.
you're going to struggle, or it will be a problem when that bill became callable tomorrow, because we
Hmm.
don't know. Do you have the ability to pay for that 20,000, 50,000, $100,000 if requested within 24 hours? If you don't have that flexibility in your portfolio, in your bank account, underneath your mattress, that's not good debt.
No.
That's always bad debt. Anytime someone can make you pay something and you don't have the ability or the finances to pay it off immediately,
Mm-hmm.
it's really not good debt. We're really talking about people who have access to millions of dollars where they may have hundreds of thousands
Right.
of good debt. But when your net worth is maybe, a couple hundred thousand, and 50,000 might become callable, it's really not a good debt situation.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. My next statistic, and I'm very passionate about this. I know you are as well. It says nearly 48% of Americans, that's almost half, had no life insurance coverage in 2021.
Yeah, that's another staggering figure, but it doesn't surprise me. Once again, I hate to keep going back historically, but every problem has a genesis. It
Yeah.
started somewhere. So if you go back and you look at your great grandparents, they believed in life insurance. As a matter of fact, there were dozens of life insurance companies that were run by people that look like you and I
Mm-hmm.
150 years ago. But knowing history like we know history, things happen.
Right.
And when things happen and people died, when you had insurance with some other companies, they either didn't pay or it wasn't exactly the way the contract was thought to be.
Right.
So what you have is three or four generations of people that have lost faith in the life insurance world,
Mm.
which is
Yeah,
really tragic because that's one of the
I never
ways to
looked at it
create
like that.
generational wealth. It's one of the
Right.
best ways to create generational wealth,
Right.
believe it or not. But when people lose faith in life insurance, but increase their faith in their cell phone insurance,
Mm.
I have friends and family, as do you, that will insure their cell phone. They'll put insurance on their dog.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a client call me last week, asked me, do I sell pet insurance?
Yeah.
I understand people love the pets.
Of course.
Of course, people love the pets. But pets don't put money on the table, they take money off the table. So yeah, it's a staggering figure. It's half of Americans don't have life insurance, but I would challenge you that the half that don't have life insurance, they probably have some other insurances for other products and services, which is
Right.
amazing.
It's definitely staggering. Because I like to think that 50%, at least 50% of that population have children, right?
Of course,
So we see it all the time where, a breadwinner or income earner, whatever you want to call them, passes away and doesn't leave anything behind for their children,
yeah,
not understanding the importance of leaving some kind of something. So when I see 48%, I think of a population where half don't have life insurance coverage, which, again, that's just, we talk about loving our families. We talk about, making sure that our families are having the best and the greatest and the latest and all of that stuff, but not having the coverage, that's really the, like you said, the genesis for passing poverty.
correct.
I was doing a group presentation, and I was asking, what would it be like if everybody on your block had $250,000 in coverage? when someone passed away in their family. It starts out with a block, but then when other people start to catch on in the community, how would life be different if we all had money coming in? We probably wouldn't be robbing and beating each other the way that we do. Just a lot of crime and things like that. Because it seems as if once a breadwinner passes away, the desperation, of the family that they leave behind just creates a horrible cycle of trauma and poverty. So that always blows my mind, that figure. 42% of US adults say that they've gone into even more debt, right? Because we keep talking about debt, we keep talking about this,
It's a cancer.
it
It's a
is a
cancer.
financial cancer, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Since
That
the
spreads.
pandemic,
Yeah,
right? So the pandemic showed us a couple of different things. The pandemic showed us that if anything goes down, we are not financially prepared for an emergency,
correct.
right? So we saw government employees or people that could not work. We saw them in food bank lines. We saw all kinds of different things going on, because it pulled back the covers of the paycheck to paycheck cycle, right? Where if that money is not coming in, then we're panicking, so that it showed us that. And then, like I said, the life insurance part, where people started passing away and there was no coverage, so then you started seeing an uptick in people trying to take it seriously and start getting coverage. But 42% have gone into a deeper financial debt since the pandemic.
Yeah, that's probably a number that's probably increasing year over year.
Absolutely.
It's probably more closer to half by now.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
People will pull for plastic uh, far quicker than probably, well, certainly than our grandparents and parents. But
Mm-hmm.
people will. There's something. I don't know what it is, Letha, but there's something that happens when you see your name on a piece of plastic. I don't know what it is, but
I knew
something
you would talk about the
something
psychological. It's,
happens
it's something
psychologically
psychological.
in our brains when we get a colorful card with our name on it.
Right.
It's unbelievable. But
Yeah.
that's what it is. I mean, the people who run that business, they know exactly what they're doing.
Absolutely.
They know
And then
exactly what
with
they're
with
doing.
them moving to cashless societies, right? We swiping, 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 swiping.
Correct. Correct. I was on vacation a couple years ago out of the country, and the whole country cashless.
I can't imagine.
From the hotel front desk to every restaurant, you had to charge it to your room. To
Wow.
buy an ice cream cone, you had to charge it to your room. All of your excursions couldn't pay cash. The whole country, the whole resort, I'll say that. The whole
Sheesh.
resort, cashless.
How did you do?
Well, I mean, we were prepared for it because we kind of knew that, but
Right.
it was very interesting to watch.
Right.
It was very, very interesting to watch. Like when you would pull out cash, people almost didn't know how to respond.
Mm.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
we don't do that here.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, what is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm from Atlantic City. It's an old gambling town. There's a reason that they use casino chips and not cash.
Yeah.
Casino chips spend faster than cash. So there's
Yeah.
a reason. Speaking about the genesis of things, there's a reason.
Wow.
You need to really pay attention. See,
Yeah.
when you have cash in your pocket and the cash is gone, hey, I need to slow down.
Right. Right. But when you swiping, you look up and you be like, "Ooh." Like, I was just swiping. I swiped at this store. I swiped at that store.
Correct.
So that's why I said that the cashless society thing is definitely alarming. I've just not necessarily, if I had cash, I was like, all right, well, I just won't be shopping there today, because I'm trying to reel it in. And you're telling me that you don't accept anything but cash. And during the pandemic, I certainly understood it because
Sure,
they weren't
sure.
trying to touch, you weren't trying to touch and stuff like that. But yeah, when you're just swiping, it makes it so easy to blow. So absolutely. This one, I know people know this. I know that they've felt this. 4 in 10 Americans don't have $1,000 saved for an emergency,
That's probably very accurate. And the
and
rich
it
on
was
the go ahead. I'm
was
sorry.
even
Excuse me.
worse when, because I'd even go to say $500 for an emergency.
Well, yeah, because people see that plastic as cash.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we're talking about the psychology of things.
Right.
If I had an emergency, I can pull a card.
Right.
You see what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that's people have lost the value of cash. Cash has been since cash has been used as a legal tender in our country, cash has always been king. And as
Mm-hmm.
long as we continue to use cash somewhere, cash will always be king. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me. $1,000, I see that a lot. I certainly
Yeah,
see that a lot.
I see where
But it's
people are
easy
like,
to
oh,
fix. It's easy to
it
fix.
is it is easy to fix. Like you said, where you just have to get started. I think people often feel like, that they just can't, I can't save. I can't put money to the side. I had a girl I was talking with, and she just felt trapped. She was just like, every penny goes, and so I was talking about the smaller things, the buying a coffee every day,
Yeah.
or just what is it that you can cut out, right? Because we got to get to this point somehow, right? We got to get, even if we say, you know what, I saved over the last month, I saved $200, or I saved $50, whatever it is. um what do you suggest within the emergency account, like
Well,
if you were to not use your credit card?
before you get to an emergency account, and that's a great first step. Emergency account probably should be at least 3 to 6 months
Mm-hmm.
worth of your salary set aside. 6 months will probably be ideal. I'll tell you a quick story. My father had my mother, my brother, my sister, our wives, couple cousins, and an uncle over for Sunday dinner. This is going back 20 some odd years ago. And my father said, every Sunday that we come over for dinner, bring $20. Okay. So we
Mm.
did that for months as a family. My mother,
Wow.
my father, my brother, his wife, me, my wife, my cousin, and my uncle. We just put $20 a week on the table. And that $20 grew so fast over a short
Wow.
few weeks that we decided to then take that money and put it in an account.
That's
And
beautiful. That's a beautiful
then
thing.
it grew a little more. And then
Mm-hmm.
we took that money and opened up a brokerage account. TD Ameritrade, whatever brokerage account you
Mm-hmm.
love. A lot of people use Robinhood or whatever they're using today.
Mm-hmm.
We purchased some stocks, not knowing anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
That money is still growing today.
Wow.
That money is still growing today. It is well in the six figures.
Get the heck out of
I
here.
wish I was kidding you. I wish I was kidding you.
So you're bringing me to my next valid point, right? Where um where we get our money habits and our money traumas from, right? Your father did an amazing thing by getting the family in the habit of saving, right? But then it's the total opposite for some other folks, right? Where they might not get the healthy habits, or the the good spending habits from their parents. In fact, it might be the exact opposite. Sometimes we breed our children to see it, get it. If I want it, I'm gonna get it now.
Right.
That was an amazing thing. I like to hear you talk about your father, but that was an amazing thing that he did. Just talk about some of the money traumas that you've come across, because there's people who have a hate for money, or they think that money is an evil thing, or just touch on some of those traumas.
Well, it's all up here.
Hmm.
It's really all up here, combined with how we're socialized and educated as it relates to money. Some people will say, and they'll say that a book will back up this saying, that money is the root of all evil. Has anybody ever heard of that?
Hmm.
Money is the root of all evil. When in actuality, the quote is, the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not the money.
Right. No,
It's
it's
the
not the
love of the
money.
money. It's the
Right.
worshiping of the money. It's the
Right.
idolatry of the money. Money's a tool.
Yeah.
It's like a hammer. It's like a screwdriver.
Right.
Nobody loves their hammer or their screwdriver. They just need it for the job that they're performing.
Right. Very, very
So
true.
as
And
far
that's
as the trauma that you would have, or from not really being properly socialized as it relates to money, it can have long lasting ramifications
mhm.
historically, generationally. People, that there's a saying out here in the lexicon out here in the world, people saying you need to break the generational curses, and
Mhm.
people say all types of things that sounds good and are really really cute. At the end of the day, you just got to save $5 a day.
Come on.
I mean, just keeping it simple. We waste $5 a day. You don't need
Easy.
that coffee. You don't need that ice cream cone. You can do without the pack of gum. You can do, gum is $4 a pack if you get the mega pack. Can you believe that?
I know. I
You
know.
you cannot you can stop playing the lottery, but you're not gonna win. You know, the, people will buy one $5 scratch off
A day.
a day,
Yeah.
or four scratch offs and two Powerballs and three megas and a bag of Funyuns. And listen, that's $12.78
Yes, it is. Every single day.
every day.
And be like, I don't have no money to save. No.
If you save $5 a day, that's $35 a week.
Right. Yeah.
That's $70 every pay period if you get paid twice a month.
Hmm.
That's $140 a month. That's over $1,000 a year. If you
Yeah.
just stop buying Funyuns, barbecue pork rinds. I mean, I'm going just having fun with you, Letha, but these are things that people buy.
Right. It's
We're laughing
true.
because it's silly,
It's true.
but it's reality.
I'm laughing because it's true. I'm not laughing
Yes,
because it's silly. It's the truth.
it is absolutely the truth. Go
Yeah.
to your local market, stand behind someone, and watch them spend $38, and it's in one bag, and it's nothing of any substance.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely bizarre. If you could just save $5 a day, you save $5 a day, I promise you, in a few weeks, you're not going to think the same. Another quick
No.
exercise I do with my clients, real quickly, is I tell my clients that say, "Oh, I don't have any money. I have no," which is crazy, right? But you make $50,000 a year, and you say, "I don't have any money." Every dime I make is going to somebody, and I'm like, "How do you feel about that?" And they feel terrible about it. I say, "Okay, listen. For the next 30 days, I'm gonna put you on this exercise. I'm gonna put you on this program. Everywhere you go, get a receipt. Come
Mhm.
home, put the receipt in the box, put it in the drawer, put it somewhere. I don't care if you get gas, get a receipt. If you buy
Mhm.
barbecue Funyuns, get a receipt. If you buy a scratch off, get a receipt.
Right.
If you buy bubble bath, get a receipt.
Right.
If you buy a green pepper, get a receipt. If you go grocery shopping, get a receipt. If you
Mm-hmm.
order DoorDash, get a receipt.
Mm-hmm.
After 30 days, you will be amazed
Mm-hmm.
how much money you've spent.
Mm-hmm.
And that is working to change the psychology of your mind as it relates to money. When you look up and you say, I have spent $600 worth of stuff that I can't see.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't see it anymore. It's gone.
Yeah.
I purchased $600 worth of things this 30 days that have evaporated. They've been eviscerated from my life.
Mm-hmm.
Gas is gone. The Funyuns are gone. The gum is gone. The scratch offs are gone. The coffee's gone.
Yeah. It's the God's honest truth. I do something similar with my clients where I have them get like a little composition book, right? Because we sat down, we did their budget, and it was like, okay, um, there's about $800 left that we have no account for. We just
Correct.
know that it's gone.
Right.
Right. So after you wrote down your bills and your expenses and this, that, and the third, we got $800. We have no idea where it is. It's gone. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can't. We have no idea. We want to save, but we don't even know where the money is going. So I had them get like the little composition book and just write down every single purchase. Right. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you bought a pack of gum or whatever the case may be,
Skittles.
um, yes, and then every 2 weeks, when you get paid, you look and see, because really the habits and the discipline really needs to come from, is this something that I need or is this something that I want? Is it
Correct.
a necessity or is it something that I don't really need to have? And then you got a chance to see that you ordered out on DoorDash too many times, which is that's a grip in itself. You know, ordering on those apps, I've talked about it multiple times. Like you could really spend several dollars over more than what it would be if you went and picked the food up.
Yeah.
Do we need to have these streaming apps? Do we need to have all of these different things, right? That put us in a position where it's not a necessity, but it's a comfort, right? So I want this comfort. So is this something that you have to have? You know, I need to do it. I need to save such and such a month, but I have the highest speed of this and the highest speed of that. And we use all of our streaming apps. Do you have to use them though? Is Netflix a necessity? Just, little things that you can cut out. It doesn't even have to be the big things like food, because I see people talking about that too, cutting back on food. How do I cut back on my grocery bill? Um, you know,
Gym memberships, which you're not using.
the gym memberships that you're not using, right? But your family has to eat. So, cutting back the grocery bill is a little extreme, but what else is it that we can that we can cut back? And when the people got a chance to see where the $800 were going, then it became, like you said, it became psychological, where it was like, you know what? Instead of having Walmart deliver my goods, I'm gonna go pick them up. The convenience and comfort, is really charging me.
It is.
Or it maybe we're not gonna do date night every single week. We're gonna do it every 2 weeks, or whatever it is that you can really figure out a way. And that particular couple is, after we cleared up some things and paid off some bills, teaching them the principles of debt and things like that. They're well on their way to saving like $300 a month.
That's
You
awesome.
know, that's huge. So then they will have money to invest, which brings me to my next part, right? Why do you think so many people don't invest their money?
Fear, doubt, ignorance.
Yeah.
But
Money
see,
step back to the money traumas.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's the trauma, it's the psychological trauma.
Right.
You know, let's take it back to the Genesis. There used to be a bank called a Freedmen's Bank, that African American, after the Civil War, or after slavery ended in 1865,
Mm-hmm.
where people put their money.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, just my opinion, that the reason that we don't have a healthy trust in banks is because historically, every time we would accumulate something, someone would burn it down.
Mm.
So this Freedmen's Bank, you can Google it. Freedmen's Bank, the money was taken out of the Freedmen's Bank. Freedmen's Bank.
Mm.
And you know that particular trauma travels through your DNA generationally. So we've been taught systemically not to trust banks.
Yeah.
You know, nobody even thinks about keeping money under the mattress. No one says that, but people look like you and I.
No.
That's a joke to other people. But there are people that are going to listen to this broadcast that currently have money underneath their mattress,
Oh, I know.
earning
Yeah.
0% interest.
No,
So
not
yeah,
at all.
we're afraid of investing,
Yeah.
but we're not afraid to invest in others, which I
Hmm.
find is amazing. You
Yeah.
know, you'll buy the name brand, whatever. You're investing. You're an investor, whether you know it or not,
And
in
you're
that
just not
product or
getting a return
service.
on the investment.
Zero. You're
Yeah.
getting swag. You're getting the flex.
Oh, the flex is free. Like the flex don't pay anything,
Yeah,
right?
but inherently in my little heart,
I look
for me
good.
for me to have something that you don't, that's where it
Woo.
comes from. Tell you
That's
another quick
very
story.
heavy.
Another quick story. When my kids were young, you know, I'm from Atlantic City, as I told you. Since moved away, and you know, moved to the suburbs as people desire to do. Um, got out the car, told my son, lock the car. He was 4 or 5 years old. Lock the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he said to me, Letha? And he
Uh-oh.
gave me such pause. He said, Dad, no one's going to steal the car here. Everyone here has a car.
Ooh.
I said, lock the door anyway. Lock the door.
Right.
But he's right.
Yeah.
He was right. And in his little 5-year old mind, it's like, well, who's going to steal a car if you already own a car?
Right.
Only people who steal cars are people who don't have cars.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
that is so true in our business. The only people that don't invest are people that don't invest.
Yeah. It's the truth.
The people who invest, the people that do invest, they invest.
Absolutely.
So
And consequently, we're seeing seniors work till they die, because they didn't put any the money under the mattress. Okay, cool. But not having it grow in a vehicle that can produce hundreds of thousands of dollars to, make sure that out of once they're in retirement, that they don't have to come out of retirement. That's a story that we just see recycled over and over and over again, where,
unfortunately, you're
you
right.
you're watching a whole bunch of people, whether it's even something as I don't have the money for the emergency, I don't have the money for the retirement, all of those different things, just really help to create a poor quality of life, and that is seeing somebody working because they have to and they're older, not because they want to. definitely was one of the reasons why I got involved, because I was like, there's something we are missing here, right?
Absolutely.
There's something we're not catching, because it's happening too often, and then throw that in with them not expecting the baby boomers to live as long as they've lived. So you're watching Social Security dwindle down, or they're trying to find a way to privatize it, or even with Social Security, you're not getting all the money that you need, that like you were when you were working. They downsize you, and then you end up downsizing your life. So those were definitely some of the things that inspired me to say, okay, I there's something that we're missing, and it's too many of us missing it. It's not, oh, this person over here. It's a whole bunch of us that's just missing it. And it's not because we don't work hard. It's because, like you said, because of fear, or because of trauma, or I don't invest in the stock market because the stock market's gonna crash. Just all different things that really have a way of keeping us in a, as you said, in the generational curse phase, where our net worth is low, or our cash flow is low, just different things like that. So what are some solutions, like, for us who say, okay, I don't have any income, I don't have any money where I can really start saving, or whatever the case may be. A lot of the times I heard somebody say, like, you can't create a budget if you don't have a the income to do it, right?
Right.
So, you're seeing more than ever, people are starting a business, or people are finding ways to create passive income, because nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So if you really, are doing the paycheck to paycheck to paycheck thing, or sometimes not even making it paycheck to paycheck, it can seem very, very overwhelming, even like, okay, I didn't save $5 every day, but I saved, I put $5 to the side, 3 times this week. Talk about what entrepreneurship and passive income, how does that help?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, let me see. I guess I started this way. One of the biggest expenses in your W-2 paycheck is taxes.
Hmm.
That's where most of your money goes.
Hmm.
Taxes.
Hmm.
One of the ways to defray your taxes is by having business expenses.
Hmm.
Well, how do you have business expenses? Well, you have a business that makes profit, because the profit that you make on a business is a taxable occurrence, but you can defray some of those taxes with your write offs. So just by owning a lemonade stand, you buy a widget at the store and you open up a Facebook marketplace account where you sell widgets. You're now a business owner.
Hmm.
Now you have the opportunity from the tax structure of our country, because remember, the tax code was written by business owners, wasn't written by W-2 employees,
Right. How about that?
to defray your taxes or to lower your taxes due to the cutting of business expenses. So that's just one huge benefit.
Yeah.
You know, a business owner is not going to pay the taxes as a W-2 employee is going to pay.
Sure.
That's just what it is. That's just what it is. As far as other benefits, being in business for yourself, whether you're self-employed or business ownership, you have the opportunity to pass what you own to your children, to your family members. You can't pass
Hmm.
a job. You could have the best degree position on earth. Someone had that position before you, and when you're gone, someone will have that position after you.
Hmm.
If it were that good of an opportunity, How come your loved ones can't start where you ended?
Mm.
Because you don't own it.
Right.
And we have to really stop thinking like employees, I feel, and start thinking more like business owners. See,
Mm-hmm.
when you have business ownership, you can hire your nephew who doesn't know nothing, like that happens on your job. And then you train the boss's nephew,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get mad when he becomes your boss.
Right.
And then you say, well, that's not fair. Fair is where you judge pigs and horses. That's what a
Damn.
fair is. If you owned a business, you would hire your uncle or your nephew or your niece,
Facts.
and you would put them with the best employee at your firm, your job, because you want your niece or nephew to be properly trained by someone who knows
Absolutely.
what they're doing. And of
Absolutely.
course, you're going to promote your niece or your nephew. And of
Right.
course, it's not going to be fair.
Right.
Why should it be? But we've been so conditioned to think on the other side of things. Well, if I
Right.
really just get this second degree, this third degree, this fourth degree, if I really just come to work early and work late, if I just really show my mettle, hey, nepotism is a real thing. You need to take advantage of it. If you own
Mm-hmm.
something, you can give it to your nephew.
They just got mad that they were getting people were getting mad because that's what happened with Beyonce's daughter, where it's like, oh, she's getting a role in the new Lion King movie, and it was like, this is
Why
what
wouldn't
happens.
she?
Like, this is what happens. Like, why instead of getting mad about it, build something that you can pass to your family, or build something that will gain notoriety for your family, right? Because we're not, that's the only way that you are going to be able to create a space. I have a friend who owns a home health care business, and that's what she started doing. She was like, why am I going to go out and get an HR representative when I was doing the HR for such a long time myself? I could just train my daughter on how to do the HR stuff and, pay her 60 grand a year. And, she's built a business with her whole family around her. Oh, well, this is your role and this is your role. That's how it goes,
That's
right?
what you're supposed to do. That's what you're encouraged to do.
That's what business owners do, and then you're not having to work as hard. You got a family business going,
Well,
that
that's
you
not
can keep.
fair, Letha. That's not fair. Who
Yeah.
promised you fair? I just want to
No.
know who that is.
Who said it was
Who
fair?
who said it was supposed to be fair?
Right. Yeah. It's very eye-opening when you really get a chance to see how things work in this economy and in the world of business ownership versus employees, the stability of it, where at any given time things are subject to change on a job. They downsize, you're getting laid off, you're getting terminated, you're getting, you gotta relocate. I've had people that have had to go into early retirement because they chose not to go where the company was moving. I'm not moving to Alabama, so I'll
Because
just sit
that's
here.
not fair. I've been here for 30 years. That's not fair.
Right.
You
Right.
are an expense to the owner. When profits go down, the owner cuts expenses.
Yeah.
When your electric bill goes up in your house, you don't run the air conditioner as much.
Mm-hmm.
You unplug things.
Mm-hmm.
See, because that's an expense.
Mm-hmm.
Electricity is an expense. And when the electricity goes up, you look for ways to cut the electric bill. Am I right or right?
It's the truth.
When you are a business owner and profits aren't in line where you would want them to be, you cut expenses.
Mm-hmm.
That's where layoffs come from, right sizing, re engineering, moving to Mobile, Alabama, because we can pay you a whole lot less down there than we can pay you here.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur,
No,
right?
no,
Everybody is not. We
no,
need teachers, we need doctors, we
absolutely.
need
And they
lawyers,
need
we
to be
need,
paid more money.
and they need, but they definitely need to be paid more money, right?
Absolutely.
I was working in social work. Social workers are needed. It's
Absolutely.
not something that's not a job a robot can do,
No.
right? And it is a very grueling, intensive job, right? So no, everybody's not going to be a business owner, but
Nor should they.
we got nor should they, but we
Correct.
got to be in a better position where we're being paid what we're worth. And in my experience, that's usually where you get to be paid what you're worth. You know, the job doesn't pay what you're worth. So you go get another job, or you go get another degree, or, all these things to try to make more money when the job just isn't cutting it to pay you. They said the median income 30 years ago was $50,000. The median income is still $50,000. Prices are rising, but paychecks are not. So, in my experience, that type of raise you give yourself, or being paid what you're worth, comes from even doing something on a part-time basis, but it's something of yours that you personally are developing. People have all kinds of different side hustles and things like that. Like you said, it cuts down on tax expenses and things like that, because they're not really even letting people that are employed really deduct anything on their expenses anymore. You used to be able to deduct this or deduct that, but now taxes, they're saying, okay, the only way you're going to really be able to deduct anything is if you own a business. It doesn't say how big the business has to be. It could be a small business,
Absolutely.
but whatever
The
your
backbone of our
expenses
country is
are,
small businesses.
yeah, you cut down on those tax benefits. So I wanted to leave the people with some solutions, right? So I think we've established that you just got to get started, right?
Absolutely.
With $5 a day,
Yeah.
right? So it's not such a big thing like, oh, I got to save $100 a month. No, start small, right? I think we've identified that debt is a financial cancer, right?
Absolutely is.
So we need to get a better handle on that, so that we have more money for other things, other goals that we have, right? Investing is something that needs to happen. Lenny, tell folks all of the things that we talked about. You and I both do the financial coaching thing. Tell people why it's so important to have a financial coach. What is it that a financial coach is going to assist with to really help a person get on track? Because everybody's got coaches. We got we got physical trainers, we have life coaches, we have, all of these different coaches, mindset coaches. Why do you think it's so critical to have a financial coach?
Having a financial coach is not only one of the best things that you could probably do for not only your finances and your financial health, they're probably one of the best things you could do in your life, because everything revolves around the money, including your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
When your money's not right, you're not in a good mood.
Mm-hmm.
When your money is good, you're in a better mood. When you're in a better mood, you're in a space for where miracles can happen, where innovation can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to take care of the what's keeping you bogged down, which typically is the money. You know what I mean? See, we might not in this election year, we might not agree politically. We might not even agree spiritually, but we can agree financially. We need to do
Mm-hmm.
better.
Mm-hmm.
So, you might have a candidate that you may be pulling for in November, or even locally in your local events. You might have a pastor, an imam, a priest, whoever that takes care of your spiritual life. Who's leading your financial life? And if
Right.
you look at them in the mirror when you brush your teeth in the morning, it probably shouldn't be you. Everybody has a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a leader. Everyone has someone in every endeavor where they bounce things off of. They get advice from. See,
Right.
when you having problems spiritually, you go talk to your spiritual leader.
Mm-hmm.
When you're having problems politically, you go speak to your local politician. Who do you talk to when you're having financial problems?
Hmm.
Is it you?
My barber, my hairstylist.
Right, right, right.
Who can't help you, by the
Who
way.
can't help you?
They're just a listening ear, so you're more so venting.
And there's nothing
Um,
wrong with those people who are listening ears, but when you have a car that's breaking down, you go see a mechanic.
right.
When you're not feeling well, you go see a doctor,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, so true.
Financially, you need to see a professional. You
Yeah.
need to see a professional. You don't need to spend a lot of money. I didn't say
No,
that.
no,
But you do need to get some advice. You need to get someone to put you on a game plan. You might need to pay your little copay or whatever the situation is. But copays are relatively inexpensive. They're $5 or $10, right? If you have good
absolutely.
insurance, typically that maybe $20. So it's
Yes,
not a
indeed.
huge expense,
No,
but you need to seek out counsel. You need to
absolutely.
seek counsel
You
because
do.
you're already doing it within every other facet of your life.
And, something that I think is so important is, where you get with a financial coach, mindset coach, whoever, they pull out blind spots that you can't see.
It's a
Right,
fact.
they're able to be on the outside looking in on your financial situation, where you see no way out, they see several ways out. Or they say, you know what, instead of going this way, go this way. Instead of trying this, try this. Oh, don't pay them the full amount on a past due bill. See if you can make some kind of settlement with them. Just different things that you can do, because that coach can pull out the things that they see that you just don't see. They can give you a better direction, and you have someone to bounce things off of. What's your opinion on this? Someone offered me this. What do you think about it? Somebody that goes along the journey with you throughout the time that you are, building your financial game plan. So, with that being said, if people wanted to reach you, what would be the best way that they could get a hold of you? If they had some follow up questions to today, or, just wanted to pick your brain, or, any of those good things. Can you hear
Well,
me?
I have a toll free number.
Okay. Uh oh. Is that me, or did we lose him? Leslie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Mr. Lenny went out.
Okay.
You're coming in
Uh
and out, but I can hear you.
oh yeah. I don't know what happened, but yeah, tell them your toll free number.
It's 866 491 1998. That's 866 491 1998. That's a good way to reach me toll free all over the country. You can
Okay.
certainly dial that number. You can have access to me. And like I said, I usually get back to people and schedule sessions within the week
Okay.
based off my availability and your availability. We find a day and time that works. And that messaging sent number will find me directly or through my cell phone, or if you feel comfortable in leaving a voicemail message, that is, of course, toll free. That number again is 866 491 1998.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. And I know that the conversations, we talk about this stuff over and over and over and over again, just because repetition, is it when it comes to learning. Maybe you heard something on this show that maybe you didn't hear a few shows back, or whatever the case may be. So we repeat this information over and over and over again in some way, shape, or form. It might be a whole show about life insurance, it might be a whole show about investments. Today we kind of tried to spark the interest and the thoughts of taking control of your finances overall. And of course, building a strong financial house, there is a way to do it, and that is why you should seek coaching. Right. So you should figure out what steps you need to be taking. And I love that they have these months where it's like, oh, financial literacy awareness month, whatever the case may be, because it gives people a charge or a step that they can take to get started. So with that being said, Lenny, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show,
My pleasure.
dropping some wisdom, some jewels on us, and again, in ways that we can understand, right? Because you could sit with somebody all day and they be talking some mumbo jumbo, and you really don't understand what they're saying, and you're more confused when you sat with them than you were before you got there. But putting things in terms that are relatable and things that people can understand, that's definitely why I always think you're a great candidate to be on the show, because you break it down in ways and use analogies and comparisons and things that help people to really become laser focused on the topic at hand. So I can't thank you enough for
I appreciate you as well. And thank you, Letha.
Not a problem. Well, this concludes our financial literacy segment of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. We can't thank you enough for tuning in. We ask that you share this show, because really that's really all it takes, is you hearing one thing, or you getting a chance to learn something in a way that you didn't learn it before. That's all it takes to really put your best foot forward and not worry about what you didn't get done, but what you can get done. So we look forward to seeing you all again. And thank you again. Oh, one more thing. Please feel free to go to our Facebook group, Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show, and join our group. You can stay in touch with episodes. We put some financial resources on there and things like that. Become a part of the movement. Start joining and tuning in and sharing this with your folks. So we thank you all and have a good night.
Have a great one.
CMPRadio.net, it's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man.